Have you ever wondered how to get into ketosis in 24 hours? Have you questioned if it's even possible? Well, it actually is possible. We live in a day and age where instant gratification is king of the house. We all want things to happen now, and waiting isn't something we're accustomed to anymore. But that's okay when it comes to ketosis. I hadn't really thought about it until someone asked me if it was possible to get into ketosis fast. It was one of those moments where I had to pause and think. And then I did some research and found out that it is possible to get into ketosis in 24 hours, but it also takes a lot of work. Not to mention, you have to know what pitfalls to avoid in order to get into ketosis fast. Can't get into ketosis? Read this to see if you might be having some of these issues and learn how to correct them. First, let's go over some basics. What is the keto diet? If you do a search in Google, you'll find tons of posts that will tell you that a keto diet is one where someone eats a high-fat, moderate protein, and low-carb diet. The ratios vary based on the individual, but the consensus is that you want to eat less than 20 grams of net carbs or 5% of your total caloric intake. This can vary based on who you talk to or where you're reading your information. The overall consensus is that you need to eat really low carbs in order to get into ketosis. But this is where things get hairy also. Not everyone follows the same rules or believes the same things. One thing I can say is that as a woman we're completely different when it comes to the keto diet. The female body is widely affected by our hormones, and when you decrease the number of carbs you drastically, it can throw the body into a frenzy. As women, we have to be really careful going into ketosis because it can have a large effect on our bodies. Check out how here. You can avoid this, but if you're wanting to get into ketosis fast, then I would caution you to just be careful. Eating well on the keto diet, you can't live on processed meats, cheese, and heavy cream when you're starting a keto diet. You need to eat vegetables to keep things healthy. If you're not sure what foods you can eat, then I would suggest you check out the keto food list I created to help you in the beginning. You need to eat fewer carbs to get into ketosis, but I never ever suggest eating no vegetables or fruits. How you normally get into ketosis under normal circumstances, you try to keep your carbs below 30 grams net carbs, sometimes lower. Or even start lowering your carbs slowly to get into ketosis. Most people will use heavy cream, cheese, and fatty meats to hit their fat numbers, but I actually disagree with this after having done it. You'll start to feel shitty, and that's the last thing you'd want to experience. Instead, I tell people to focus on fatty meats, low-carb veggies, like lettuce, kale, Brussels sprouts, broccoli and cauliflower, and some keto-friendly fruits, like berries. You'll want to keep your carbs on the low end, but also make sure you're getting enough calories too. Steps you'd normally take: track your ketone levels with a ketone monitor or ketone urine strips. Keep your carbs low, aim for less than 30 grams net carbs. Keep on top of your electrolytes, make sure you eat your fat. Olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, etc. Your protein intake should be moderate, so really keep an eye on that. If you're hungry, drink water to make sure you're not dehydrated. Drink water anyways because you're losing lots of water rather than retaining it. Now eat enough food so you're not accidentally starving yourself due to old habits. If you don't eat enough, you won't go into ketosis. If you don't eat enough fat, you won't get into ketosis. Also, if you eat a lot of protein, you can keep yourself out of ketosis. I know. It seems like a whole lot of crap to remember, but it's kind of simple. Basically, do this. Test your ketone levels twice a day, morning and night. Know your macros, go here and figure them out. Don't eat over the protein count, that is the max protein you can eat. You don't have to hit your fat numbers if you're not hungry, but make sure you're not keeping yourself from eating either. Your carbohydrate numbers are a suggestion, meaning you don't have to hit them, but definitely, don't go over them if you can help it. Lots of greens, lettuce, kale, broccoli, cauliflower, minimal meat portions, and lots of fats. Cover everything in fat. I promise, you'll thank me later. In the beginning, I would suggest keeping track of everything and playing with your carb levels so you can find maximum ketosis for yourself. Some people can get into ketosis eating higher levels of carbs than other people. Some folks require eating fewer carbs to enter ketosis. Perks of each person's body being completely different. You have to figure out what works for you and your body. What causes ketosis to happen? Ketosis happens when you drastically reduce the number of carbohydrates you're eating on a daily basis. You're ultimately depriving your body of glucose that comes from the carbs you're eating. The glucose from the carbs is what your body uses for fuel. When you reduce the amount of glucose you're feeding yourself, your body has to look for an alternate source of fuel to keep you energized. That's why we increase the grams of fats we're eating. Fat is another source of fuel we can eat and use. Our bodies turn fat into ketones, which our body then uses as fuel. Here's a look at the 3 types of ketones our body makes. You can test your blood or your urine for excess ketones. But, after you get to a point where your body is using ketones efficiently, you might not have them register on a device. So, just a little fair warning there. How to get into ketosis in 24 hours? So, if you're a bit impatient or maybe have a lot of impatience, there is a way to get into ketosis really fast. If you're pretty diligent, you can actually figure out how to get into ketosis in 24 hours. Some ideas are simple and some are a bit more labor-intensive or crazy in my opinion. But, I wanted to share these ideas with you so you had the option if you so chose to go this route. With all this being said, please be careful with trying to get into ketosis so fast. First, you'll probably experience the keto flu, and that in and of itself can be pretty horrible. I wouldn't advise this route if you have to be sane at work. Second, if you cut your carbs really drastically, it can cause a lot of upsets with your digestive system because you'll be shifting your entire way of eating. 1. Focus on simple foods. A lot of people that are starting a keto diet take to the internet and find all these fancy food ideas, but don't really take into consideration how they're going to make them. My thoughts are all for keeping it simple. Also, don't lean heavily on cheese, dairy or bacon when you start this diet. All things in moderation, but a lot of people get hung up on cheese crisps, palm crisps, or that bacon is really fatty. Feed yourself really nutritious foods to maximize your path to ketosis. 2. Work out to burn off glucose. One of the best ways to get rid of excess glucose in your system is to burn it off with exercise. Get outside and do a really intense workout like one of these best HIIT workouts for women and really deplete your glycogen stores. Once all the glycogen and glucose are depleted from your system, your body will be forced to convert fat into ketones. Now, I'm not saying do a 5-hour HIIT session either. You can do 15 minutes of a HIIT workout and be well on your way to getting into ketosis. 3. Drink plenty of water. You can't enter ketosis if you're severely dehydrated. So make sure you're drinking water. You're not eating carbs like you used to, so you're not storing water either. That means it's way easier for you to get dehydrated than ever before. Also, add a pinch of salt to the water to help replenish all the salt you're now losing rather than retaining. 4. Don't skimp on electrolytes and minerals. Feeling kinda crappy? Headaches, brain fog, super freaking tired? You might be losing minerals really fast and aren't getting enough from the food you're eating. Make sure you're stocked up on magnesium, potassium, and salt so you can keep the keto flu at bay. Or you can just get perfect ketos electrolytes and cover all your bases. 5. Intermittent fasting. OR 24HOUR. Fast fasting is like the superhero in this equation. If you create a huge gap between eating times, you're forcing your body to live off of whatever you ate before your last meal. This essentially causes it to clean up everything, purge old things, and uses up glycogen too. You're not giving yourself any more glycogen, so it's using and burning off what you have to accomplish what it needs to. Here's more info on intermittent fasting that goes WAYYYY in depth so you can see how it helps. 6. Use all of the above plus perfect ketos exogenous ketones. When in doubt, you can always use perfect ketos exogenous ketones to boost your ketone levels and help your body get into ketosis faster. This supplement is amazing and tastes great. It floods your body with beta-hydroxybutyrate, which is a naturally occurring molecule called a ketone body. When you're taking in more of this, it helps your body to understand that you want it to use ketones rather than glucose for fuel, thereby helping you to get into ketosis faster than normal. Read more about exogenous ketones and how they can help aid in weight loss. They might not be 100% necessary, but I can't say they aren't worth it. I love them. Should you try to get into ketosis this fast? It's up to you really. Personally, I'm a dip your toe in the water to get in kind of gal. I also would rather avoid the keto flu, which is possible, and I wrote an ebook called Successfully Keto about it right here. It's completely possible to achieve, but it also depends on how much glycogen you have stored too. Also, be careful if your family has any genetic thyroid problems or any autoimmune diseases. By cutting your carbs drastically or eating too low carb can actually trigger your body to attach your thyroid or itself. But, if you're super healthy, great immune system and otherwise good to go, then give it a shot. What if I ate high carb for a long time? Your ability to get into ketosis in 24 hours might be hindered by living a high-carb lifestyle before deciding to start a keto diet. One way you can rapidly shift how your body uses food for fuel is to start cutting the carbs you're eating to a level that's getting close to keto and then doing a whammy deal. You can also prime your body by doing HIIT workouts throughout the week before you make the swap. This will give your body time to realize it needs to use a lot of glucose when you're doing a HIIT workout to fuel the workout and recover. Doing little things before taking the plunge will help you successfully enter ketosis faster than if you hadn't prepped your body. Is it safe to try to get into ketosis in 24 hours? Short answer, yes. Long answer, it really depends on your body and predispositions really. Like I mentioned above, if your genetics have any thyroid problems or autoimmune tendencies, then you could trigger those. Some disorders need carbs to function, like the thyroid, and so going too low on the carbs can actually cause harm. Whereas, some disorders do better with really low carbs. Make sure you do your research and are well informed by making the decision to go this route. Want to lose weight with keto? Starting keto can be daunting with all the information out there nowadays. But, I want to help you feel confident and encouraged for starting the keto diet. Introducing the Keto Freedom 14-Day Detox. This detox is not your average ordinary detox. You won't be told to eat boring foods, only drink liquids, survive on juices, or starve yourself to lose weight. No, that's just crazy in my mind. I like to eat. So, what is that 14-day detox all about? You'll get a 40-plus page guide to keto, 20 recipes, and 2 weeks of meal plans plus shopping lists are already done for you. Don't worry, if you want to change it up, you totally can. I wanted to take the stress out of the first 2 weeks of being keto so you could focus on your journey rather than scrambling to find information and meals.